Hey my beautiful Aries peeps, what's going on everybody? It's Am from CancerMoonsTarot and welcome into your yearly tarot reading for the year of 2024. How are you? I hope you guys are doing great. I do want to mention as always before we get started, if you're interested in a personal reading, you can check out my website, CancerMoonsTarot.com. It'll be the first link in the description box below if you wish to book me there. Now, as we're getting on into your yearly tarot reading, I want to take a look here first and foremost at the theme of your year. So we'll be using an oracle deck for that, and then we'll get on into some expansion energies with the tarot. Okay, so first and foremost, let's take a look here into your theme. What is going to be the theme of the year coming on up here for Aries, Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus zodiacs? What is going to be Aries' theme for the year of 2024? Let's go ahead and have ourselves a look. Starting out here with the first card, we do have here trust. So trust seems to be quite a big one here, okay? And it actually kind of gives me the energy here of the Fool card, because the Fool card in the tarot is 0 as well in numerology. So this is Aries energy becoming embodied into the reading. And I feel here with the trust card as well, it's more about trusting yourself and trusting the process, right? At the end of the day, if you are the universe, you should also trust yourself if you're trusting the universe. So I think it's a time here this year where it's good to trust your instincts. It's good to go where you're feeling called to. It's good to let go of whatever you feel like you need to let go of, but it's also good to follow the path that feels righteous for you, okay? So trust is coming out here big time. Trust your path. Trust that you're on the right path. Follow your instincts here. Let's go ahead and get maybe one or two more themes for Aries coming into the year of 2024. We have here the throat chakra, speaking your truth, right? Proper communication, making sure that you're not holding back, making sure that you are living in your truth each and every single day. And we'll get one more theme for you to tie out the theme here of the year, and we have here teach coming into play as well. Some of you might be getting into spiritual teachings this year if that's the case for you. If so, that's pretty cool stuff. So you could be getting into spiritual teachings. Maybe some of you are an actual teacher. Therefore, that could be something really awesome. You add a lot of value to society, especially a lot of value to people who are learning and growing up in the world. But whatever it is you may teach, you could be teaching at some point or one point or another this year. So that could be a major theme coming in for many of you. However, though, one thing I love about the teach card is that it's a reminder that even the teacher is always learning. At the end of the day, whether you are a student or a teacher, there is always something to learn going forward. So teacher could say, or teach could say, you have a lot of knowledge, but at the end of the day, your knowledge is ever expanding. So this could be the year to really expand your knowledge. Some of you this year could be going back to school. Maybe you're doing lots of courses, especially if you're getting involved in new types of business structures or maybe new types of career spaces. Teach could also be about expanding your knowledge on your current situation, right? Well, let's say, for example, you work in terms of spirituality. So you could be learning more about spirituality, learning more about your journey. You could be learning more about the types of business you have and how you're going to add value to people's lives. Overall, though, guys, multitude of things can happen here with this teach card, but once again, just like a student is always learning, a teacher is always learning as well. Okay, so lots of knowledge to come in this year in 2024. Now we're going to go ahead and expand on all of these themes here for you for the year of 2024. So let's get on into that before we go any further. Okay, so let's get some expansion cards coming in. Let's start with the trust card here first. So tell me about the trust theme showing up here for Aries coming into 2024. We had that Seven of Swords fly right out. Okay, so Seven of Swords came out to play, but let's go ahead and get some extra information. Tell me about this teach card energy for Aries in 2024. Or sorry, the trust card energy for Aries in 2024. We have here the Eight of Pentacles. We have here the Seven of Cups showing up for you too. So from what I'm picking up on here so far, guys, it definitely seems to me like you've had maybe problems in the past. Potentially this was 2023's energy, where it was very difficult for you to trust other people. Maybe it was very difficult for you to trust yourself and trust your own decisions. I feel like the Seven of Swords here says, I might as well push away everybody and anything so that I can protect myself and not get hurt. I'm pretty sure, if I didn't say it in the beginning, I might have, but I'm pretty sure I said that you were in a self-preservation or self-protection energy throughout 2023. And I feel that very strongly for you. And I think it's carrying out here into the new year where it's like, I need to learn to trust myself, or I can only trust myself. I don't want to trust other people. I'm being closed off. People are shady. These are like beliefs that there isn't good in the world when there is, right? And maybe some of you are suffering with that, where it's hard to look in the world and see a good perception of people, see a good perception of life, see a good perception of this world in general, you know? And I can agree with you. There's a lot of ugly things in the world. There's a lot of horrible things that are going on across the country. There's a lot of horrible things going on across the globe. And wherever you may take place and live, there's always going to be some really rough and difficult things happening. However, though, life also has quite a beauty to it too. But we have to tune in and open up our perception to that and choose, are we going to live in the perception that this world is horrible, or are we going to accept the fact that it has its beauties too? That's one of the biggest things that are important here. So I think that with the trust card showing up, the theme of the year says it's time to trust a little more in yourself. It's time to trust a little more in humanity, that things can be better. It's time to trust that there's a better side to people. It's time to trust that there's a better plan for you, or that there's better things and plans that are going to happen and unfold here for this world. If we're only tuned in and tapped into the negative perception of things, then that's all we're ever going to see. And that's never going to bring love to us. It's only going to bring harm to us. What is the most highest frequency we can feel in this 3D reality? It's love. But when we start getting to lower vibrations, such as hatred, anger, negativity, when we get into those lower vibrational fields, love seems further and further away to be able to attain, right? So the trust card here says it's time to work on changing your perception, okay? And trust in the fact that there are good people out there, good situations, and goodness that's still in the world. Because I feel like there's been a lot of confusion for you with the Seven of Cups here. I think some of you Aries who are watching, you know, you've tried to rationalize things. It's like, I've tried to see the good in people, but I feel like all I've ever been met with is the bad. I've tried to see the good in the world, but it just seems like life gets harder every day. And I understand that. There are struggles and there's no denying it. But the more that we refuse to tune in to the good stuff that actually is happening and shift our focus there, we're always going to see it this way. We're always going to feel like the world is a dark and evil place, and we're always going to feel like people suck, you know? Unless we choose to look otherwise. So this year and this theme calls for you to restore your faith in humanity, restore your faith in yourself, restore your faith in the good in the world. And if you can trust in goodness and good things happening and beauty in life really happening in a beautiful and wonderful way, you're going to see a massive change in your life that you're living and in the world that you're living as well. So I think it's very important here to really focus on that here coming into 2024. I think that's going to be one of your biggest themes, right? I have to change my perception. Maybe not everything is as bad as it seemed, and maybe it's time to look at things in a bit of a better light, okay? Now, excuse me for one moment. Sorry about that, Aries. Whew. That was a big one. So, nonetheless, had to sneeze right there. Allergy season's kicking up right now, but moving along here forward, let's hop on into your throat chakra card and get some information there at this time and see what's going on with this theme, okay? So hopping on into the throat chakra now, we're going to take a look here and see what's coming up at this time. All right. What information do we have here regarding the throat chakra? Why is the throat chakra the theme for 2024, please? Why is the throat chakra the theme for 2024 for Aries, Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus? Let's take a look. We got here the Hierophant. We also have here the Page of Swords. And then following up with that Page of Swords, we have here the Ace of Swords coming out for you as well. Oh, sorry about that. I didn't even realize my window's not up. Hello. So we got here a Hierophant, a Page of Swords, and an Ace of Swords coming on out here regarding this throat chakra. Now, the throat chakra, right, is the ability to speak clearly, to speak your truth, and to be in an energy where there is nothing being held back. Everything is out on the table. So when we're looking at a theme here for 2024 in the retrospect of the throat chakra, what the throat chakra entails is that this is a year to be truthful. This is a year to be living in your truth and to be focusing on not holding back anything, but allowing yourself to be incredibly expressive. So I feel like coming into 2024, this is going to be a time here for you guys to not hold back, just to be honest about how you feel about things, how you feel about people, how you're feeling right now in your personal life. I think that with the Hierophant showing up here for you paired to the Page of Swords, sometimes we could be a little bit hesitant, afraid, or worried to speak our truth, especially if that truth goes against the status quo with the Hierophant showing up for you. Now, what is the status quo? Societal values, the way that society thinks, the hive mind. And typically an Aries isn't afraid to challenge people's hive mind behavior. Aries will usually not really give a fuck and say what they want to say. But I think that it's become a world where it's pretty difficult to say what's on your mind, huh? And I think that for you guys, there might have been, to a degree, some of that repression that's been really affecting you. You know, maybe you've been in an environment with family or friends where it's like you say something and then suddenly they're like, oh, you can't say that. Or, oh, you should keep that to yourself. And it's like, why? That's not me being my authentic self. That's not me living in my truth. That's me policing myself. You know, at the end of the day, that's me molding who I truly am to make other people happy. That isn't authenticity. That's manipulation, right? And that's not something that you want to do. So I feel like with the Ace of Swords showing up here, there's a bit of a wake-up call coming in how you conduct yourself, Aries, in how you speak your truth, and how you present yourself to the world. And there isn't a fear factor anymore in speaking and being honest. There is a freedom that comes along with it to be able to be exactly who you are. So I feel like the major theme of the throat chakra showing up here is not to hold back, guys, but to be your authentic self. So tapping into that authenticity this year is going to be incredibly powerful and incredibly potent, okay? So far, so good here with these themes. I'm definitely enjoying these for Aries peeps. You know, like I mentioned, with trust, this is the time to trust that there's faith in humanity. You know, there's good things out there. There's good people. So we're going to be switching our perception here as a pretty big theme. We're also going to be switching up and focusing on authenticity this year. And that's going to be a major factor in attracting people who are genuinely for you, attracting good fortune and good situations, and allowing yourself to genuinely feel liberated and free. No one wants to feel restricted. And the moment that we start becoming the restriction of our own throat chakras is the moment where we become trapped. So for many of you, Aries, the goal here is to make sure you are as free as possible this year. Now, getting on into the Teach card, let's have a look here and see why this is your theme as well. So let's get some expansion cards. Tell me about the Teach card. Why is this a theme for Aries 2024? Aries, Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus. We have here a Five of Swords, we have here a Judgment card, and we have here a Knight of Swords coming out as well. Now, the thing is that I also feel with Teach, at one point or another, when you think about teachers, they were also taught as well. And I'm hearing old habits die hard. I'm also hearing you can't teach an old dog new tricks. It's interesting because there's loads of information that people teach over and over and over again, but many people are quick to accept what they're being taught. Not many people are willing to challenge what they're being taught. And I feel like the Five of Swords is a card here that says, I'm willing to kick it up a notch and actually create a bit of a challenge. Maybe you were like this in school, Aries. Maybe when you were being taught something, you challenged it or you challenged ideas. And I love that. We should always be questioning, what we're being told or what we're learning, right? It's a good thing to actually question situations in the world because taking different angles and different approaches are wonderful for expanding knowledge. So I feel with the Five of Swords here, it's like, even if I can teach things, at one point or another, I've been taught. And I think that this is the card with the Five of Swords that says it's time to challenge not only what you've been taught, but maybe what you're preaching and teaching too. So this is a good time to analyze the knowledge you have and to analyze also at the same time what's being taught out in the world. You know, maybe there's people that are teaching things to society that isn't helping society but hurting society. Maybe you're going to be the person this year to break people free. I'm kind of picking up on an energy of like breaking people out of the matrix, if you will. So maybe you're like a spiritual teacher and you're teaching people how to get unstuck from the 3D reality, how to resonate with 5D energies, etc. Could be something of that nature. We got here a Judgment card. We also have here a Knight of Swords. Judgment card here is about making the right judgment calls for you. If something doesn't seem morally correct to you, but it's what's been taught, you're not listening to what something's been taught just because it's what's been taught. You're listening to your morality. That's where not being afraid to challenge teachings comes in. I definitely feel like you're not afraid to challenge knowledge. You're not afraid to challenge the way that things are done coming into this world. So remember how I told you with the Trust card that there are good things in this world. We just have to tune into that perception. Well, I also mentioned to you with the Trust card that there are bad things in this world as well, which I feel like you've been focused on. That's been your frequency. I think for many of you, Aries, you guys are being called here to challenge those negative things into the world. And please do remember, you can be the difference. I want to make a pause on that and hopefully let that soak in for a minute, because it's true. You could be the difference to some of the things in life that you're not particularly happy with whatever's going on in the world. You could be the person to stand up and make a change. to whatever's being taught that doesn't seem morally correct, you can be the person to challenge that. You have that ability and that fight within you, and Aries have that drive within them to be the people who create the change in the first place. So I think that this is going to be a year where you have to really tap into your awareness and ask yourself, with the knowledge that I have, with the things that I'm being taught, with the things I'm seeing other people teach in the world, is it morally correct? Is it right? Is it what it should be? Or does some challenges need to come into play? And is there anything I can challenge to make it better? Okay? And keep in mind, these can be things within yourself like limiting beliefs. Have you been taught that you have to do something one way and that's the only way? Why not challenge it? Maybe come up with a better method. Were you taught throughout childhood to not feel worthy within yourself? Is there any limiting beliefs there that you can really focus on this year? Crushing, destroying, and replanting with something new and beautiful. This will be the time to do that. So really, really focus on awareness this year. Look at the things you've been taught. Look at the negative things you've been taught. See what you can unlearn. See what you can start to bring in that's going to be positive knowledge for the future. And if there's anything you wish to challenge, look at what it is you can change that'll make a positive impact on either yourself, society, the world, etc. Okay? So these are the big main themes that I'm seeing coming in here for you guys so far. These are actually quite wonderful, and I really did enjoy this portion of the reading. So Aries, definitely do take these into account here for your year of 2024. All right, everybody. We're going to go ahead now and move forward past the themes, and we're going to take a look at the rose of the year. Just as every rose has its thorn, we will get into the thorns of the years of the year later, but we're going to look at your roses, okay? Now, what this means is this is going to be the good stuff. It'll be positive no matter what, so definitely do keep that in mind, okay? All right, though, everybody. Give me one moment or so to get set up, and then we'll get into it. So what are going to be the roses of the year here for Aries people, Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus? Coming on into the year of 2024, what's going to be the roses of the year throughout 2024? Let's go ahead and check it out here, Ram Fam. First card coming out is going to be the Knight of Swords. Taking a look here at the following, we have here the Five of Pentacles. We also do have here the the Ten of Cups. And lastly, we have here the Wheel of Fortune. Ooh la la. Now, let's talk about this Knight of Swords here paired to a Five of Pentacles. Remember, positive no matter what. Typically, when we see a Five of Pentacles, it could be a little bit of like a negative card at times, but Knight of Swords to the Five of Pentacles says you're pulling yourself out of unfortunate situations here in the year of 2024. Now, Five of Pentacles could be representative of issues with finances. It could be representative of feeling left out in the cold and feeling detached. It could be representative of not feeling happy. There's so many ways this Five of Pentacles, or so many different ways this Five of Pentacles can mean something, but at the end of the day here, the Knight of Swords says we're removing ourselves from that. Typically, when you're looking at it from a general standpoint, the Five of Pentacles represents lack. So what you've been lacking in life, whether you've been lacking happiness, success, love, etc., whatever it is you've been lacking, you are now going to find in abundance here coming into 2024. And that's what I love so much to see for you. So looking at your rose of the year, you guys are finding abundance in areas where you felt like there was genuinely lack. And that can be very personalized to many of you. Okay? Let's go ahead and expand on this a little bit. Give me more information about this rose for Aries. We have here the Sun, beautiful, that represents happiness. We have here the Three of Wands, and we also have here the Seven of Pentacles and the Ten of Pentacles coming on out here for you too. So taking a look here at your rose, right? Removing yourself from lack, finding abundance. This is going to be the key to find happiness in the year of 2024. There's no more waiting for happiness. You're figuring out how to take action and create happiness right now, right here in yourself and in your life. Seven of Pentacles here to the Ten of Pentacles. Seven of Pentacles is about planting seeds, and Ten of Pentacles is the energy of enjoying the harvest, enjoying the abundance that you've created. So I really do feel that one of your roses here is the realization in 2024 that I felt like I've lacked something for a long time. I felt like something from my life was missing, but it doesn't have to be. You're figuring out how to become abundant in whatever area or walk of life this is. If this happens to be your love life, you're figuring that out. You're finding abundance in love. If it happens to be your finances, you're turning your entire financial situation around here in 2024. So that's a really wonderful rose to see here for you guys. Let's have a look at another rose for you. We got here a Ten of Cups and a Wheel of Fortune, which is fantastic. I'm not going to lie to you guys. It looks really spectacular for love in 2024 for Aries peeps. So if you guys find yourselves in a relationship, this could potentially be the one. The person where you have such a powerful connection, where this goes forward in a wonderful direction for the long term. So long-term relationships definitely seem to be a rose this year, and it looks to me like you guys have a lot to look forward to in this connection. Now let's expand on this, okay? Tell me about love here for Aries in 2024. Let's talk about this rose of a powerful connection. And I do want to mention, if this is not love in the sense of being connected to somebody romantically, this very well likely this year could be connecting with your work. Maybe you really love your work. You're married to your work, right? Maybe you really love your friends. You really love your environment. So there's a lot of fulfillment, right? When we look at the 10 of Cups at a core, it's representative of fulfillment. So this year seems to be a very fulfilling time with changes that are leading you to fulfillment overall, okay? Now we have a Four of Wands, beautiful. We have a Page of Wands here, beautiful. And we have here a Knight of Pentacles, and we have here a 10 of Wands. Beautiful, guys, okay? So having a look into this rose, like I mentioned, you know, you're in a space and time right now in 2024 where you are finding fulfillment because things are genuinely changing. You know, Four of Wands here represents good environments. Page of Wands here represents genuine interest into the things you're doing, the people you're surrounding yourself with, your social settings. I feel like this year you're making sure you are in a good place with your friends, your romantic relationships, your work environment. You're really taking the time here to focus on environments as a whole. Whatever may need to change, you're making sure you make those changes accordingly with the Wheel of Fortune. And whatever's already great, you're enjoying it and living it up to the best of your ability. Now, Knight of Pentacles here to the 10 of Wands. I think a wonderful thing coming in here for you too is that suffering really seems to be getting eliminated here for you in 2024 because you've gotten to a point where you've found stability. If you're an Aries person who maybe suffered with a lot of intense mental health situations last year, I think this year you're going to start to notice how you feel so much more stable in terms of your mental health and in terms of your life. You feel like stability is really at play. You feel consistently better. You're not dealing with a lot of mental health challenges as much, but you more so feel like you're dealing with bliss and feelings of high vibrational emotions more on a daily basis. So Knight of Pentacles here says we're hitting a consistency level where things are going great rather than things being intense, whereas they might have been previously in 2023. So looking at this rose here, lots of changes coming in for fulfillment. And I feel like you're going to see that in many different environments in your life, whether it be your love life, your friendships, your personal life, your family. You're going to start to see that there isn't as much suffering showing up here anymore because I'm choosing to consistently devote myself to environments that are good for me. For the environments that aren't good for me, we're kicking those to the curb. Point blank, period, right? So Ram fam, I'm loving this so far, man. In terms of your roses, right? And the rose of the year is kind of like the highs of the year, right? The best things that are coming up for you this year. That's what roses mean if I didn't explain that very clearly. You know, what I'm seeing for you so far, becoming abundant in whatever's been lacking. So we're removing ourselves from lack. We're finding that missing key, that thing that's been missing in our lives. And in terms of abundance, we're really shifting ourselves into happiness and fulfillment. We're removing ourselves away and changing the things that made us unhappy so that we can find true happiness this year in our environments and all around us, okay? Really, really cool stuff, guys. I like this so far. Let's get one more rose. Screw it. Let's take a look here, all right? Let's get one more rose for Aries. Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus throughout the year of 2024. Let me see what's up. We got here a Page of Swords, and we have here a Three of Pentacles. Very interesting rose. Yeah, this is representative of not feeling worried, not feeling nervous, not holding back, but instead actually going for the things you want. I think you're going to really feel this year a certain level of motivation, but also a very big urge to challenge comfort instead of sitting in comfort. I think you're recognizing that if we want to grow, we need to get ourselves in an uncomfortable position. One of my favorite things that my high school teacher told me back in the day was, the best thing you can do is get comfortable with being uncomfortable. And that is a quote that stood with me for so many years afterwards, and I think it'll stay with me, honestly, for the rest of my life. Because the truth is that when we're sitting in comfort, we're not growing. But when we actually decide to move out of comfortable energies and do something we've never done before, even if we're nervous, we start to grow because we are getting into new environments and learning something new. So I think that one of the greatest things you can see this year as well is your growth. If you have struggled with communication, if you have felt antisocial, if you have felt like you have had a difficulty speaking to people or speaking to an audience or whatever the case may be, you're going to start to notice that you're working very, very hard here on your communication. You're working very hard here on your action, and you're working very hard here on facing your fears. So I feel like 2024 for you is going to be a year where if something scares you, you're going to do it. Because anytime you do something, guys, that scares you, you eliminate the fear by going for it. Point blank, period. So for anybody that's fearful of anything, go for it and do it. It might be scary at first, but as you ease on through it, it becomes less and less scary because the way you overcome your fears is actually by facing them, okay? Now let's get some extra cards here for this rose. All right, what other information do we have here for Aries? Sun, Moon, Rise, and Venus regarding this rose here. This is definitely, if I can categorize this rose, this would be representative of fearlessness, okay? No more fear. Doing things without fear. We have here the Devil. We have here the Queen of Swords. Ooh, yeah. We got a 4 of Cups. We got a 5 of Swords. Ooh, yeah. Aries. I like it, baby. Sorry, guys. I'm a little hype. But I like it, baby. I do. We got a Devil here to a Queen of Swords. You know, not being afraid to stand up for yourself. You know, for those of you that have felt hesitant in situations, whether you've been dealing with romantic partners, friends, maybe this is a boss. For those of you that have felt uncomfortable to stand up to stand up for yourselves, excuse me, you're going to be noticing that you have the power to do that this year. For those of you that have had difficult times detaching and removing yourselves from negative situations, you're not going to have the issue doing that at all this year. You know, the 4 of Cups showing up here to the 5 of Swords. You have no issue whatsoever standing up for yourself because you see your value and your worth this year. So 2024 is big in terms of seeing your value and your worth, and in terms of things that scare you, or things that make you feel like you can't be who you truly are, or things that make you feel like you need to be hesitant or restricted, you're removing yourself from those things, okay? So that's what's so wonderful. 3 of Pentacles is a card about coming together, picking up pieces, and molding yourself back into who you want to be. For 2024, you guys sure as hell are going to do that. Page of Swords here says, I'm not scared anymore. I'm not hesitant anymore. I'm not putting up with other people's bullshit. And I, most importantly, am done being involved with devil-like situations or negative situations. If I see an opportunity to fight for myself, I will always fight for myself because I know that I deserve the best. So this is going to be a beautiful year so far, guys, especially with the roses we're seeing coming in for you. Okay? I love that. Finding abundance where there was once lack. Allowing yourself to find fulfillment by making the applicable changes and the proper changes, and allowing yourself to face fear and to not be hesitant, to not feel like your light's been dimmed, to not feel like you cannot be your true self. This resonates a lot with that throat chakra energy we touched base with earlier. So it's a really great energy of breaking free from not being able to be your authentic self. And this is the energy of molding yourself to always make sure you're standing up for yourself for the foreseeable future. Meaning, Aries, you ain't taking no shit. You're going to be who you are, living your best life, being in the best of bests environments, okay, for the foreseeable future. Really, really lovely stuff, guys. So your roses here are looking fantastic. I love it. We're going to go ahead soon, guys, and get on into your thorns of the year. And that'll be where we want to kind of watch out a little bit for some stuff. This will be like what not to do, right? This will be what to watch out for and avoid. So give me a moment or so, guys, to get set up, and we'll go ahead and continue from there, okay? All right, let's get on into your thorns here, guys. So like I mentioned, the thorns are going to be a bit of the downsides of the year, some things you might want to watch out for. So let's get on into that and take a look, okay? What is going to be a thorn for Aries coming into the year of 2024? Let's take a look. First card coming out for you is going to be the 8 of Cups, and then taking a look at the following, we have here the Temperance. Feeling like it's hard to stay involved in a stable environment because it's not what you're used to. That seems to be a thorn for some of you guys. You might struggle in this area because if you have healthy shit happening where you aren't necessarily feeling used to having healthy shit happening, it suddenly becomes uncomfortable for you. For example, if a healthy relationship comes in the year of 2024, where maybe you've been used to dating people and they haven't been always so kind, it could be hard to be accepting of a relationship that's healthy and loving, because it's out of familiarity. It's out of your comfort zone, or more so what you've been used to, right? So I see this kind of being a bit of a difficult thorn to deal with. And it doesn't just have to be in love and romantic relationships. This most certainly can be within friendships, possibly even family, especially, let's say maybe a family member was always toxic, but now they're coming from a space where they're really turning their life around and they want to be loving and they want to rebuild with you. It could be really odd to accept, this love that they're giving. You may want to reject it because it's not comfortable. It's odd. It's out of the blue. It's different. It's not what you're used to, So I see this here being a thorn. But let's go ahead over here and expand on this, okay? So what other information do we have here regarding this thorn? The ability of walking away from healthy environments due to discomfort. We have here the Wheel of Fortune and Five of Pentacles coming out. We also do have here, if I can get to this card, the Five of Swords. Funnily enough, we're pulling some of the most similar cards we got before. And we have here the Eight of Pentacles. Okay. Let's take a look at this one. So, like I mentioned with your Thorn of the Year, you want to be careful about walking away from things that are actually good for you. But the big thing here, guys, that needs to change first and foremost is for a person to accept love, they need to believe that they're worthy and deserving of it. Okay? Now, here's what we're going to do rather than what we're not going to do. What we're going to do this year is we're going to focus our hardest on recognizing our worthiness. If you can realize how worthy and deserving you are of love, you are much more likely to accept love from healthier environments rather than to reject it. Now, if you're in a space where you're not seeing your worthiness, you're more likely to tend to reject genuinely healthy situations and love that's coming in for you. So Wheel of Fortune is a card that represents change. Five of Pentacles is a card that represents lack. And it also represents here too, this feeling of not feeling enough. What needs to change is that feeling. If you're not valuing yourself to the highest of your ability, you're going to find that you're always rejecting the good stuff. Because if you don't believe that the good stuff equate to who you are in terms of value, you'll never accept it. But if you believe that the bad things equate to you in value, you're always going to accept the bad stuff. So that's something to watch out for here for sure. Five of Swords here to the Eight of Pentacles. Really try hard to not discourage your growth. Really try hard to not discourage the work that you're doing on yourself to change your own perception of self. Be really mindful of not discouraging yourself at this time in this year. I think it's going to be incredibly important for you to be your biggest supporter, your best friend. And I think it's also going to be incredibly important too to reach out to the people that you love and the people that you know unconditionally love you. And if you need aid and support at this time in changing how you view yourself, don't be afraid to vent to a friend or to talk to somebody who maybe could help you at this time change that overall perception. Okay, so one of the biggest thorns that I'm seeing coming in here for you is this Eight of Cups here to the Temperance card. That ability to accept love, to accept healthy energy, to accept happiness, because maybe it's not what you're used to. And how we're going to change this, guys. Remember, what you don't want to do is you don't want to stay in this energy. But how are we going to change this energy? We're going to change it first and foremost by changing how we see ourselves. If we start equating our value with the best of the best, we're going to get the best of the best. But if we have our value with the worst of the worst, we're going to get the worst of the worst. So we really want to change how we value ourselves, perceive and view ourselves, and we want to make that the best kind of perception we can. Then we're going to be more likely to accept love and good things for ourselves, okay? Because you deserve it, all right? All right, Aries, we're going to move forward into your second thorn shortly. Just going to take a bit of a break here. We're about 33 minutes or so into this. These are very long readings, so sorry, guys, but they're jam-packed with a lot of information for your year, so definitely understandable as to why it's a little bit much more of a longer video, okay? But I'm going to take a quick short break, then we'll get into Rose 2, so do bear with me. Or sorry, Thorn 2, do bear with me, okay? Yeah, this is a big one, though. This is a big one to talk about, for sure. A lot of people suffer with this energy, and I don't blame you guys, just letting you know. Because I've been here before, too, all right? All right, guys, let's go ahead and continue. What's going to be the next thorn here for Aries? To explain thorns, guys, just as a reminder, this is the stuff to watch out for. This is the not so high of the year. These are the lows of the year. So these are things you want to avoid, right? So this is stuff that could potentially come up that's harmful, That's not within your best interest. That's not going to help you be your greatest version. So these are things we want to avoid at all costs, okay? All right, guys. What's the next thorn here for Aries? Coming into the year of 2024, we have here a 5 of Cups, and we have here a Sun card. One of the biggest things you really want to watch out for with this specific thorn is going to be masking happiness when there's genuinely sadness. Okay? This is a big one. A lot of people have a tendency to fake it till they make it. They have a tendency to say that they're happy when they're not, and they're ignoring how they truly feel. No one ever wants to feel sadness. I think in a perfect world, we all would love to be happy all the time. But the truth is that feelings and emotions are incredibly temporary, just as everything in this life is temporary too. So when we find ourselves in a space where we're striving for happiness, but we're sad, it's not going to make it better, and you're not going to become happy by faking it till you make it. The best way to heal and actually release sadness, believe it or not, is from feeling that sadness as well. Allowing yourself to embody the energy you feel. If you're upset because you've gone through some tough stuff, you're allowed to be upset about that. Remember this year that it is okay to not be okay, and you're better off feeling these intense feelings of sadness so that you can process it, heal it, and release it, rather than trying to mask it, because masking it only furthermore delays your healing, right? I say a lot on my channel that feeling is indeed healing, and the only way to heal is to feel. And if we're not feeling our emotions, we're only delaying those emotions to keep them around so much longer. And that's the last thing you want to do, okay? All right, let's get a couple cards here. Let's get some expansion cards on this thorn. What other information do we have here for this thorn for Aries throughout the year of 2024? We have here the Page of Pentacles. We also have here the 2 of Pentacles, and we have here a High Priestess paired with a Justice card. Absolutely. So remember what I said. What we want to watch out for is masking our feelings. We also want to watch out for the Page of Pentacles and 2 of Pentacles as well. This is going to be the energy of only sometimes doing the healing work, and then other times maybe not so much. You want to stay on top of your healing as much as you can coming into 2024. So if you're dealing with situations that have been traumatic, you want to heal those. If you have been dealing with saddening situations, you want to be aware of releasing and letting them go. So you want to stay on top of releasing as much as possible. If we avoid that, we're going to put ourselves into a perspective where sometimes we're okay, other times we're not, and we're not dealing with more of a base consistency of a high vibration. We're aiming to have a super high vibrational year, so we have to make sure we're checking in with ourselves as much as possible. Page of Pentacles here says, maybe you only check in with yourself sometimes. 2 of Pentacles, and then maybe sometimes when you do check in with yourself, you don't want to do much about it, even if you see yourself being in a bit of a bad or rough spot. So you want to make sure you're checking in with yourself at least on a weekly to monthly basis. Have a debrief with yourself. How am I feeling? What's been going on in my life? Has there been anything negatively impacting me? What hasn't been serving me? What do I need to let go of? What do I need to embody more? We want to really have a lot of these check-ins. They're incredibly healthy, guys. It's like having a therapy session with yourself. And by the way, word to the wise, if you are interested in maybe potentially even having a therapy session with somebody, definitely don't hesitate to do so, because therapy is not about talking to your problems with somebody else. It's honestly like talking to a mirror, because what the therapist does is gets you to realize what you need to fix, and then you apply it there, point blank period, So it's really awesome. So don't feel afraid to do that if need be. Now, moving forward, guys, we have a High Priestess here and a Justice. The only way you're going to be able to be balanced here is if you're truly honest with yourself. It's if you're truly willing to go within and go deep, and if you're truly willing to feel in order to heal, okay? How you can hurt yourself this year is ignoring your feelings, even if they're feelings of sadness. How you can hurt yourself is not getting deep with yourself and being honest. If you're being dishonest and lying to yourself, you're never going to help yourself. And one of the biggest people you never want to lie to is you, point blank period. So those are ways you can hurt yourself. But how you can help yourself this year is not masking these feelings and emotions. It's not pushing them away, but it's confronting them, addressing them, and doing everything necessary to release them and let go. We're aiming once again for a high vibrational year. So in order to maintain that high vibration, having these check-ins and preventing ourselves from avoiding feelings that need to be confronted for too long is going to be a good thing. We want to make sure we're having confrontation as much as we can within the things within ourselves we're supposed to release, okay? All right, guys, major big thorn here too, so definitely some stuff to watch out for, but we covered what you should do instead for these two so far. So let's get into your final thorn here for the year of 2024, okay? What is going to be the final thorn here for Aries? Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus. throughout 2024. Have a Six of Swords coming out here. And let's go ahead and get one more card for the final Thorn. We have here the Nine of Cups. Okay. One big thing that I feel coming in for you. Nine of Cups is a card that represents self-fulfillment, right? This is the energy of happiness, and I feel that it's incredibly important to recognize that, yes, you can find happiness within yourself. There is tons of things you can find within yourself that'll lead you to live a happy and fulfilling life. And I think to a degree, all happiness really comes from within. But do remember that you are allowed to experience happiness outside of yourself too. This is the energy where you can be happy to be working a job you love. You can be happy to have a friend in your life. You can be happy to be in a position in your life where maybe you're wealthy. You can be happy to love the apartment you have. You know, I talk a lot on this channel about how important the internal world is. But believe it or not, the external world matters too. So I want to make that a note here, guys, that you deserve to enjoy your external world as well. Okay? If you have somebody in your life and they make you happy, should they be your sole source of happiness? No, that's the main point, right? The truth is that you should be your main source of happiness. But if anybody or anything adds extra happiness and value to you in your life, you're allowed to enjoy that. I fear with the Thorn here showing up, what could potentially happen is maybe you're focused on pushing away everybody and everything else. I don't want to rely on people for happiness. I don't want to rely on a good income for happiness. I don't want to rely on X, Y, and Z, anything external. The truth is yeah, you should not rely on anybody or anything to be happy. You are responsible for your own happiness, right? You are responsible for your emotions, 110%. However, you are able and allowed to enjoy anything else that adds to your happiness too, especially if those are external things like relationships, friendships, and whatnot, so on and so forth. So the reason why this is a Thorn is because I see and fear that maybe you might become secluded this year. You might say, I don't need nobody or anything. So you push everything away, and you're pushing away potential opportunities to add a lot of happiness and value to your life. And I think that's the last thing you want to do. All right, so that's why I see this showing up as a Thorn, but let's go ahead and move forward. What other information do we have here regarding this Thorn for Aries throughout the year of 2024? We have here the Hierophant, and we have here the Eight of Wands. Hierophant card showing up for you could be representative of what you commit to, and the Eight of Wands showing up here is the energy of expansion. So I felt this for your energy for 2023. It really felt like you were super self-focused. You were really staying in your own lane a lot in 2023, guys. And the Hierophant here being a card of devotion is representative of like, I've been super devoted to myself. I've been staying in my own lane. I've been doing me. So I understand that. But the one thing you want to watch out for is where doing you becomes you being closed off from every other person and every other opportunity. You want to be able to be open to other people. You want to be open to other situations. You know, when we get to a point where it's just about us and nothing else, we're missing out on a lot of the beauties that life has to offer, such as relationships, family, friends, you know, genuine companionship. I think humanity, we're all meant to be social creatures at the end of the day. And if we're missing out on that kind of stuff because we're only trying to be as self-reliant as possible, it could put us in a really rough spot. So these are some things to avoid for sure. Let's get two more cards here for this Thorn, and then we'll go ahead and finish up the Thorn section for you regarding this year. We have a Four of Cups, and we have a Strength card. Yeah, guys, if you ignore everyone and everything, you are going to miss out on the beautiful things that life has to offer. And this kind of goes back to the perception that I was mentioning earlier when we looked at the themes, how maybe some of you perceive the world to be like there's nothing good, like people suck, situations suck, the world sucks. Like if you still are carrying out that mentality, you're really going to be missing out on a lot of the good things the world has to offer, because there are some pretty great people out there. There are some pretty great future lovers out there. There are some pretty great bosses out there, you know? And if we keep on telling ourselves that there's just nothing good out there for us, so I only have me, you know, we're really missing out on the good stuff. So to summarize this Thorn, the point is yes, you're right. Happiness is your responsibility, and you should be the only source of your happiness. You shouldn't rely on anything external to make you happy and to make you feel fulfilled in life. However, though, that doesn't mean you don't get to enjoy happiness that comes externally either. You know, that added value, if you will, right? Like friendships and love, those are things that are meant to be enjoyed too here on this planet, on this place and time, you know? So don't miss out on that. If we're looking at the don'ts, don't miss out on that. You'll only put yourself into a position to where you literally become the hermit, and at the end of the day, all you'll have is yourself, and it won't feel that good at the end of the day either, okay? So for me, I think that's really something to watch out for. All right, Aries, we're going to go ahead and move forward. That was your Thorn section. And like I mentioned previously, for the roses are the highs of the year, the best things to anticipate, the best things coming in positive no matter what. The thorns of the year are representative of maybe some of the not so good things that we want to watch out for. If we have the power, which we do, to avoid these things, we should avoid them at all costs. So giving you guys that heads up in your thorn section here, we should be avoiding these things we discussed here today for the year, okay? All right, though, everybody. Let me get set up, and then we're going to hop on into your next section. Your next section here is going to be what you need to do this year to become your greatest version. So let me just get a sip real quick of my drink, guys, off camera, and then we'll take a look here and see how we're going to navigate becoming your greatest version here for 2024. I think for a zodiac sign, like a complete single zodiac reading, this is the longest reading I've ever done. All sign readings are always this long and longer than this, but just for like a personal one-on-one with a zodiac, I think this is one of the longest readings I've ever done. So yeah, it's been pretty awesome so far. You guys have been a great crowd. If you're still watching, I appreciate you. A lot of information for the year. All right, guys, let's rock and roll. This is gonna be the last portion of the read, so let's take a look and see what you can do to become your greatest version this year in 2024. Okay, what information do we got coming in here for Aries, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus, in regards to what they can do to become their greatest version in the year of 2024? Aries, Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus Zodiac. Let's go ahead and see. First card out is going to be the Five of Wands. Looking at the following, Six of Swords, we have here a King of Wands, we have here a Four of Swords, we have here a Nine of Wands, and we have here a Hangman. Absolutely. So let's go ahead and touch base first and foremost with this Five of Wands and this Six of Swords. How are we becoming our greatest version? Well, first and foremost, we want to remove ourselves from the things in life that we feel that are constantly frustrating us and keeping us trapped. Are there things within yourself, Aries, that frustrates you on a daily basis? Do what you can to eliminate those daily frustrations. Are you tired of seeing somebody every day? Stop seeing that person. Are you tired of somebody bothering you every day? Maybe don't be around that person. Are there things about yourself that you're unhappy? Change them. You have the power to change anything within yourself. So essentially here with the Six of Swords to the Five of Wands, this Six of Swords here says anything that creates conflict, whether it's internal conflict, whether it's anything that makes you upset or unhappy, this is the time to make sure you are actively moving away from those things. Remember, you have the power to give your energy to whatever it is you desire to give your energy to. And if you're spending the time giving your power, time, and energy to the things that make you unhappy, frustrated, or lower vibrational at the core, then you're making yourself essentially in this low vibrational energy by choosing to give your power to this. Instead, remember your power of choice and choose to give your power to higher vibrational situations like love, things that bring you joy, and most importantly, by the way, too, things that bring you peace. Okay? Moving along here forward, to become your greatest version, we got here a King of Wands and we got here a Four of Swords. Watch out for distractions in 2024. For some reason, I'm hearing watch out for get-rich-quick schemes. There's a lot of those that exist in the world, unfortunately. Anyhow, though, that was just like a completely random message, but really watch out for the distractions. King of Wands. I'm hearing a lot of people are going to try to light a fire under your ass in 2024, and this is going to be the year not to worry about what other people may be trying to get you to do or what other people may be trying to distract you with. This is a year for you to focus on your truth. A year for you to focus on what you desire the most. A person that becomes their greatest version is a person that is showing up as who they want to be. What I love so much about being your greatest version, guys, is that life gives you an opportunity every day. You get to choose how you show up in this world. You quite literally can choose to not be the same person you were yesterday and be somebody completely brand new waking up this morning. So the point is that you get to pick who you want to be. If the old version of yourself was a person who was distracted, didn't know what was going on in life, felt incredibly unhappy, picture yourself in the year of 2024. What would be the greatest version of me? Would the greatest version be focused? Would the greatest version be kind? Would the greatest version of myself be incredibly healthy? Would the greatest version of myself have a certain kind of job? The thing is if we want to become our greatest version, we have to really imagine what that version would be like. Now, how do we embody it? Well, we don't act as if, because I'm not a fan of that. When you're acting as if, you're just acting. So how do you become your greatest version? You embody the energy and characteristics of which it is you desire to be. So for example, if you want to start being a kind person in 2024, start being a kind person. If you want to be a person with a certain job, then start applying to that job. Start gaining knowledge in the year of 2024 so that you can become that person who has that job or that job title. If you are looking for a total transformation in your health and you want to become that person who's the healthy person, start doing the healthy shit. You know, it's not about acting as if, guys, but it's about literally becoming what you desire to be. You just have to make those appropriate shifts with the action that you're taking, okay? So definitely something important here if you want to become your greatest version. That's kind of the overall gist to it. But one of the things to watch out for, guys, I'm feeling really are distractions in 2024. Now, I want to mention, we got here a 9 of Wands, and we got here a Hangman coming in for you too, Team Aries. So 9 of Wands is a card that's often representative of feeling incredibly uncomfortable, feeling really held back. And the Hangman card is a card that represents feeling stuck. If you want to become your greatest version, you have to not fear losing everything you already have. If you want to become your greatest version, you have to not fear how people are going to judge you and perceive you. I think what holds back a lot of people is the worry about maybe not being in the same position they're in now because the position they're in is a comfort zone. And remember, like I said earlier in the reading, getting comfortable with being uncomfortable is incredibly powerful and beneficial because that's what creates growth. So we have to get out of the comfort zone in order to grow. And I think a lot of things that hold people back from becoming their greatest version too is the worry of how they're going to be perceived, whether you're worried about how you're going to be perceived by the public, by your friends, by your family. The truth is, guys, is you have to sit there and say, nobody else's life or opinions of my life matters. The only opinion of my life that matters is mine. Am I happy with the life I'm living? You know, the version of yourself that's your greatest version isn't other people's version of you. It's what your version of yourself is. So we have to be willing to not get distracted with how other people feel or what other people think we should be doing with our lives. And we have to be willing to not hide what we truly want for ourselves, whether or not we're worried how other people are going to perceive it. We just have to live in our truth and be who we choose to be here today. Okay? So this is how we're going to become our greatest version. And these are the kinds of things that we have to eliminate. All right, Aries? All right, everybody. Let's have a quick closing overall outcome for the year. What's going to be the overall outcome here for Aries peeps? Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus throughout the year of 2024. And what do we got? We got here the 4 of Wands. Beautiful. And we have here the Empress. I love the Empress for you because that is representative here of growth, Team Aries. So 4 of Wands showing up. Comfort, stability in 2024. I think that at the end of this year, many of you guys are going to be incredibly proud of the things that you've accomplished. I think at the ending of this year, many of you guys are going to be incredibly proud of the environment that you're in too. You know, you're doing a massive 180, I think, from 2023 to be fair. And you've become so much more of an open person. You've become who you've wanted to be. You've changed a lot of bad habits this year along the way and really morphed some beautiful habits too. I'm starting to feel really emotional at the ending of this reading, guys, but I'm kind of like seeing that and like envisioning like you guys patting yourselves on the back at the ending of this year, just being so proud of how far you've come because it was such an intense ride in the previous year for 2023. And, you know, you really sat down this year and you put your head forward and you put yourself out there and did what you were supposed to. And I think that the change is fucking night and day from what you went through in 2023 versus where you're standing here in 2024. You know, you can see it. I've actually grown here with the Empress card. That's so beautiful. You've birthed a new version of yourself into the world in 2024. And just to let you guys know, I couldn't be any more proud of you too. So I'm glad that you're proud of yourself because I'm incredibly proud of you too. All right, Aries? All right, everybody. It has been a wonderful, very lengthy reading, but this was an awesome reading here. This is actually the first yearly reading I've ever done, I think, on the channel. So you guys are the first, you know? Pop my cherry with the Aries. Anyhow, though, it was a wonderful time, and I hope you enjoyed it. And if you did, please hit a like, hit that like button. These videos are going to take a lot of work and effort from me. So I really do hope you appreciate them. And I really do hope that you look forward to having a wonderful year here. So yeah, feel free to take the advice and information provided. I should have mentioned in the beginning, if you wanted to get a notebook out, maybe take some notes of some things, like the roses of the year, the thorns of the year. If you wanted to take notes on that, that could have been beneficial too. But anyhow, that's up to you. If you want to do it, you can always come back to this video for a reference point. Okay. All right, Team Aries, I love you. Have a wonderful rest of your year for 2024. And I'm going to catch you guys in the next video. Much love and have yourselves a good one. Peace.